Welcome to You Plant, We Water. I am your host, Dr. Toya Flowers, licensed professional counselor with a specialization in marriage and couples counseling, as well as I am a professor of, you guessed it, counseling. And here in this corner of the world, we are focused on talking about faith, mental health, and how to help you have the happy, healthy, thriving relationship that not only you deserve, but that God wants for you. So, amen, right? As you can see, I am so excited because this is unlike any other show. Today, we are You Plant, We Water live. So thank you to the studio audience. What we'll do is we're going to talk about our topics. One of my little things that I do is I cover it from the three P's. A little bit of petty, professional, and then prophetic. So our topic for today is who taught you love? Okay. All right. Let's get into it. I need my glasses just that quick. Okay. So the first thing I want to know, this will be our petty part, right? I want you to think back. What did you learn or hear about love when you were growing up? I'll start. Love hurts. Don't love him more than he loves you. Anybody else? What other things that maybe you have heard about love growing up? Anybody? It's a secondhand emotion. That's right. Secondhand. Anybody else? Love don't cost a thing. Foolish in love. That's crazy in love. It being emotional. What was that? It don't hurt, right? And it's almost like everything we hear about love. I was going to say there's almost always the opposite. Love don't hurt, it does hurt. It don't cost a thing. Ain't no love without paying the bills, right? It's all you hear all of the things, right? Beautiful. Well, we're going to start before we dive deeper with God's definition of love, right? 1 Corinthians 13, 4 and 7 tells us love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It is not rude. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, and always perseveres. Or as the other versions say, love never fails, right? Sorry, y'all. Emma, you and audience, I got a lot going on today. All right, so that's what we know love to be. However, I bet not only did you hear some things growing up about love, and then you probably had your first love, which they sometimes call puppy love, right? Whether that's true, some people's first love, they're still with them to this day. However, I want you to think back to when you were growing up, okay? We are moving into, when talking about who taught us how to love, a lot of times what we learned about love was based on survival, how to survive in the family or the school environment, whatever environment we were in. So I want you to think back to little you. When love felt uncertain, when you were growing up, what did you learn you had to do to keep it? All right. So little you, when love felt uncertain, what did you have to do? What did you learn you needed to do to keep the connection? Anybody? Let me warn you all, only share as much or as little as you feel comfortable sharing. Okay. Communication, right? So when it felt uncertain, you learned, I have to say something. I need to communicate. Good. Anybody else? My grandmother always told me that she would love me unconditionally. I love that one. That's coming in on our screen. Absolutely. What else might you have learned? And if it's not when you were little, think back to the first love or some of those loves that didn't go too well. What did you learn you had to do or think you had to do, right? To keep that connection. Say that one, right? Sacrifice, right? I have to sacrifice. That is a common one. I have to sacrifice all kinds of things. Myself, put myself last. That's a good one. Anybody else? What else did we? What was that? Being patient. And somebody said compromise, right? So patience, compromising, some sacrifice. Okay. Anybody else? Think? Yes. Come on. I was like, who gonna give me that? Yes, you had to over, especially, if we could, I told y'all I get petty, but little me, I felt like I had to over apologize, right? I'm gonna tell y'all, my dad was a military man. We were gonna get a whooping, right? It would be noon, and he would let you know that after 60 minutes went off at 6:30, that's when the whooping was coming. So for them 6 hours, I was over apologizing, making peanut butter jelly sandwiches, all the things like, ooh, and then 6:30 would come. You ready, trooper? I was like, oh, thought I got out of it. But yeah, over apologizing or feeling like you have to ignore your own needs to keep somebody else happy or to bring back that connection. That's good. Anybody else? Any other thoughts? Okay. This is good. All right. I want to share with you, and if we could pull up the visual that I have. In the world of counseling, and most of it is not new, a lot of what we do in counseling is directly connected to the Bible. But what they discovered is that a lot of times when we're trying to survive, we adopted certain family roles, right? And I'm going to go over these with you, and I have a few handouts for you to take if you're in the studio audience if you want. But I want you to listen and think about what role might you have played. There's the people pleaser. This person learned that if I keep you happy, I'll stay connected. So they sought approval. They tried to avoid conflict. They put others first, and they minimized their own needs. Any people pleasers? All right. The blamer. This one, they wanted a sense of control. Their core belief is if I stay in control, I won't get hurt. So they could be critical, controlling, a little reactive, defensive, and judgmental. I'm not going to keep asking because you may or may not want to claim your roles, all right? The computer or the intellectualizer, their core belief, if I stay logical, I'm not going to feel any pain. So they are going to be overanalyzing, withdraw, avoid emotions, and be detached, right? This sometimes look like, maybe there's been a loss in the family and the computer is like, well, we all have to go at some time. So, right? The mascot or the jokester. Their core belief, if I make you laugh, I won't have to feel. So they use humor to deflect. They avoid seriousness. They change the subjects. They try to keep things light, right? If you think about it, if you've ever tried to have a family meeting, the jokester is always, you're like, okay, that's good. We want to get this finished. We just want to figure out where is the family reunion going to be at. All right. The enabler, they are a caretaker. Their core belief, if I take care of you, I am needed and safe. So they're going to overfunction, taking care of them. They're going to rescue and fix, and they might end up ignoring their own needs. The scapegoat or the troublemaker, core belief, if I cause the problem, I won't have to feel the pain. So they're seen as acting out, being rebels. And what's true about the scapegoat, if you were the scapegoat, you carry the family's pain. A lot of times the scapegoat carries everything that everyone else doesn't want to deal with. So if they focus on this one family member, they don't have to look at the dysfunction that exists within the whole family unit. Okay, so that's the scapegoat. The lost child, the invisible one. That core belief, if I stay hidden, if I stay invisible, I won't be a burden, right? So they withdraw, stay quiet. They try to avoid attention and feel unseen. We see the lost child or the invisible one a lot of times, especially in families where there's a child who has a special need, or they're ill, or a child passed away. The other sibling can become the invisible one. They don't want to be a burden. Mom and dad already got so much going on. I'm gonna just try to figure it out on my own. And then we have, last but not least, the hero, the golden child, all right? Their core belief, if I'm perfect, I'll be loved. So they're a high achiever, super responsible. They carry that pressure and they try to earn approval. So here in the studio audience and out there, I want you to think about when you were being taught how to love and you were trying to survive in the environment you were in, which of these roles did you see yourself adopting? A people pleaser, the blamer, the computer, the mascot, the enabler or caretaker, the scapegoat, the lost child, or the hero? Okay. Like I said, I'm not going to make y'all share your personal information since we live. But I want you to inside think about it, right? Be like, okay, where did I see myself in it? And hopefully, as I was saying the roles, you probably saw some of your other family members too, like, ooh, yes. I'm trying not to expose my own family up there and be like, that's it for you. You've been on TV talking about us. Don't tell nobody. I ain't gonna be that petty. But as you think about that, right? And we know, okay, we did what we needed to do as young people to survive, to figure out a way to get our needs met, to figure out how to fit in. What are you still carrying with you that you don't no longer need? You're not that little person anymore. Do you still have to be the enabler? Right?
People pleaser.
The people pleaser. Yes. That's a hard one to break, right? Because everybody loves the people pleaser. And sometimes when you're trying to move into something different or trying to observe your boundaries, people have a problem with it because they're like, no, you all, right? They don't want to hear your no. And they're like, you always help. You're always there for everyone. For my people pleasers, one thing I tell them is the only people that'll have a problem with your no are the ones who don't respect your boundaries.
That's good. That's a book.
Okay. Right? So remember that when you say, I have a good girlfriend, she says, no is a complete sentence. No, period. Right? Now, I'm going to be honest, y'all, because I got a little people pleaser in me. So I haven't got to the no as a complete sentence. I'm always going to give you a no and a reason. Like, no, because, but beyond that, just know anybody, only the ones who don't want to respect your boundaries going to have a problem with it. Everybody else is going to be like, oh, okay, I get it, right? Okay, so as you're thinking about these roles, right, and how they served you, but now we're trying to think, how do I move past that? Because a lot of us and I see this all the time in my practice, right? A lot of us, we have a grown-up body, but we're still that little girl or little boy inside. And that's how we show up in our adult couple relationship. When it gets tense or when we feel like our loved one, our partner might leave or abandon us, grown-up Toya doesn't show up. Little girl Toya shows up, right? And I go immediately to those roles. So as you're thinking about that, I want you to think about when you're in conflict as an adult, which version of you shows up? Is it the adult or the one who learned how to survive? All right. And it's okay. Those roles helped us connect, helped us have an identity in our family, but they are not how God designed you to experience love. So if we can get you back to little him or little her before anybody told you they weren't good enough, they didn't love right, they were too sensitive or too disconnected, or you got to toughen up, you can't show up in the world in that way. And not to say that these things aren't true, but a part of you probably have forgotten about. And if we can connect back to that, that's where that healthy, thriving love is. All right? I'm going to pause here. Thoughts? How is this making sense? Or you're like, this ain't going to work. We can't do that. We can't be going out there with a heart on the sleeve now. The lost child. Yeah. You want to hear a little bit more about the lost child? Yes. The lost child, that invisible one, right? They are going to oftentimes show up as really self-sufficient. They can get it done. They're probably not going to ask for help, right? Because they learn, hey, I don't want to burden anybody. I'll figure it out, right? I'll figure it out. Yeah.
What category would you put a person who has no love, like a serial killer or a mass murderer?
That is an excellent question. I want to repeat that. What category do we put somebody who has no love, like a serial killer or an ex-murderer? That is where the term, we hear this all the time, psychopath, sociopath, that's exactly what it means. Because there are certain people who oftentimes they've had some really bad experiences in childhood, but not always, but they are incapable of love. And that is what causes that behavior, that killing and all of those things.
Would that be Trump?
I love it. I heard, would that be Trump? Would that be? Well, listen, let me see. How do I, let me think here. You can, there is love for him and there are people who love him and there are some things and we don't know. What I don't know is who he is at home, who is his core character and what is performance. But part of what he performs does seem to meet criteria for certain personality disorders, but I don't know if that's who he really is or not, right? But if it is, yes, that's why we combine faith and mental health. Love it, right? So, okay, we're doing good. So you're thinking about who showed up, right? And even now in conflict, who shows up, right? When I'm at it with my spouse or partner, when I'm at it with my sister or brother, is it little girl or little boy or the real me? And then if you take that and you're thinking about that for yourself, and then you remember that person who you at it with, they little representative is there too. Now we see why I can go left. This is how I have a job, right? But something to think about. All right. How do we begin to move into what healthy love looks like? One thing that we know the Bible says is love your neighbor as you love yourself, right? I think a lot of times why that doesn't work is most of us don't love ourselves. So how am I love you? Right? And if we could start to move into what loving myself looks like, then I can truly love you. I cannot pour from an empty cup. Right? But some people think, especially depending on what role you grew up in, maybe a caretaker, some people think that's selfish. I can't put my needs first. I can't love me first. You have to. You have to. How can I truly love you, love my neighbor as myself, if I don't love me first? Okay?
Yeah.
So that's something we want to shift in our mindset. There's nothing wrong with putting your needs first. This doesn't mean we become selfish or narcissistic or sociopaths or psychopaths, right? But it's how do we express what I need? A lot of times what I find with my couples, y'all, and it's my ladies, we the most guilty of this. We be like, you should know what I need. He does. Whoever said nope is right, right? Nobody can read minds. Nobody can. So instead, make it plain and give them the chance to either one, show up for you or not. Then you make your decision. But you can't make, it's not fair to make your decision based off he should know. Right? So instead, make it plain. Hey, I'll give a real world example. My partner would bring me flowers every week. I love flowers, right? But I don't like putting them in the vase, cutting them, arranging them, and all of that stuff, right? I recently saw, this is petty, but I recently, maybe yesterday, I saw on YouTube where the women were saying, if I have to do all that work, it's not a gift, it's a job now, right? Now I'm a florist. I want my flower, I like them just arranged. I just want to admire their beauty. I don't want to cut them and do all the things, right? So I just said that. I just said, I love that you bring me flowers. It makes me so happy, but I really don't like arranging them or cutting them. So can you keep that in mind? He had a choice then. He could have did any one thing. He could have been petty and been like, fine, no flowers for you. Okay, fair enough. And hey, that would have been one way. You ain't got to cut them because you ain't getting them. Okay. Or he could say, okay, I hear you. And I thank God that's what he did. He said, okay, I hear you. I'm going to still bring you flowers. And you know what he did? Come on, he arranged them. You don't get to see somebody meet your needs unless you tell them what they are. Give them the chance to show up for you or fail you so you can make an informed decision, right? Don't assume. So that's that piece, okay? How do we move? What does healthy love and attachment look like? I'll tell y'all, there's nothing new under the sun. Healthy love flows as you are becoming. And how do we know when we're becoming? When we show the fruits of the Spirit, right? That's why it's in there. Love, kindness, long suffering, right? Yes. So that's what it looks like. And I want you to know, even myself, because sometimes what I find with my clients is we get discouraged because we think, man, this is a lot. I ain't perfect. I ain't gonna remember to bring the flowers cut or to how to say this. You don't have to be. You don't have to be. You could be completely flawed and healing, because this is about, as I said, I didn't say who you are. I said who you are becoming. All right? As long as you're still on your journey, we're all good. I usually run into the problem with the people who think they've arrived, right? Like, that's where the problem comes in. Okay? All right. Questions so far, because I'm going to have y'all do an activity in a second. Sounding good? All right. Well, as therapists, we got our little tricks. I shouldn't call them tricks, but they're tricks of how we try to get you to connect back with that inner child. Because what I have to do is I have to get you to shut off the part of your brain that's overthinking, over-analyzing, over-adulting, right? Like, I ain't gonna tell nobody that. It's funny, my don't get me, I'm about to tell. My mom taught me when I was telling you, what did you learn when you were loving? Because she learned it from her mama, who learned it from her mother, and every girl was taught, don't have more kids so you can carry out the dough when it's time to leave. Right? Yeah, like, you trapped. I'm like, okay. And whether I agree with it or not, when you know that's true, I got two. One for each hand, right? Now, because some things, even when we want to do better, it's in our subconscious. And we have this thing called generational patterns, right? They can be passed on via mouth, but they're also in our DNA. Some things we don't even have to say, and it's there. You know why Black people had a highest rate of things like diabetes and heart disease and things like that? The trauma from slavery and all of those things. It changes the shape of I don't know, now I'm not that kind of scientist, but it changes the DNA and then it just gets passed down and passed down. So that's why they'll use the word predisposed, right? But if you think about those diseases that we're predisposed to, they're all related to stress, all right? And what the stress, the reason it can pass down biologically, with the stress the mother feels in the womb goes directly to the baby, all right? So that's this, we can break these things though. So don't get me wrong. You can break and set your family on a whole nother path. And the way we do that is just through awareness, being aware. When is my little person showing up, right? What did they need? What do I wish somebody had said to them? Can I say it to them now? And you can talk to your inner child, right? But here's the activity we're gonna do. I want you to think, right? I want you to think about one person. It could be real or imagined. And so what I mean by imagine, right? They could have been on TV, right? One person who you really admired when you were little. Think about when you were about 7 or 8-ish, right? Okay. We got somebody in our head. Let me hear some names of whoever they may be. Superman. I love it. Anybody else? Somebody you really admire when you were young. Wonder Woman. I love it. Spider-Man. Yes. Superman, Wonder Woman, Spider-Man. Hulk. The Hulk. Okay. Your big brother. Oh, you mind sharing his name? Let's give him a show. Irvin. Come on. Irvin Jr. Oh, I see you. I see the emotion as you think about him. Okay. Anybody else? Batman. All right. We got Batman, Spider-Man, the Hulk, Superman, Wonder Woman, Irvin Jr., right? Some people, it may be a teacher, but I really hope that you have somebody in your head. This is important because remember, I'm trying to connect you to something that's subconscious. Okay, so we are that girl. Ah, from the show. I like it. Beautiful. Okay. So does everybody have someone in mind? Real? Apostle Hinton. Beautiful. So everybody got somebody in their mind? Okay, beautiful. Now, what I want you to do is think about what are 3 things that you like about them, right? So if I'll use myself. I liked Claire Huxtable. All right, she was one of the ones. And one thing I liked is even when she was mad, she was so cool, like when she was like, oh, I don't know how many of y'all remember, but she would be like, oh, you went to see the Wretched and had a good old time. And I'm like, oh, she's mad and she's cool. But think about the person you name and come up with, I know it's a lot to reclaim, but at least one thing for now. When you go home, continue this, right? But what's one thing you really liked about them? Anybody want to share something about their person that they like? Strong and brave. Yes. Anybody else? Who? The dressing. Yes. She was stylish. Yes. Fashionable. Anybody else? Batman whoop people, right? Don't play with Batman. Yes, it was. Whooping people, utility belt, and the bank account. Love it. Anybody else? Yes, go ahead. Big muscles, Hulk and the big muscles, strong. Okay. Yes, Miss Henson.
Yeah, beautiful smile.
Yeah.
She's engaged into the classroom. She just had an aura about her as a Black teacher.
Ooh.
She just always made you feel you could do anything, no matter if you had an F. She gave you that F with a smile on your face.
Wow. Come on, Miss Henson. I love it. I love it. You said it. I love that. So she was a Black teacher, and that aura about her just made you feel like you could do anything, even if you was in trouble. Beautiful. Okay. Now here's the secret behind this, right? This is scientifically proven. The reason you are attracted to that particular person, the reason you admire them, because that's who you are or becoming. We're drawn to something that represents a part of ourselves. I don't know if you're going to become a billionaire, but you might. Right? But I bet you could whoop some people if the time came. Right? And to this woman who said, Miss Henson, and that she made you feel like you could do anything. I don't know if you remember, but before we started going live, I was nervous. And you told me, it's going to be okay. You could do it. We're here. This is completely unscripted because I didn't know you were going to say that, right? Yeah, but think about that, right? So I heard strong. That's because even if you don't believe it now, it's who you're on your way to becoming. So I heard strong. I heard all kinds of things. Think about that person. And when you go home tonight, just be honest. What is the things that three things you like about them? And now you know. That's why. All right? That's why. So the point of all of this is we're trying to bring ourselves back to who we were before the world told us no, for whatever reason. I know you remember when you were 7 or 8, bless my child's heart, he's in here now until he was probably at least 11. He wanted to be a Ninja Turtle, right? I was like, okay. People would ask him, what you want to be when you grow up? And the answer was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. And I would be like, and he is going to be the best one ever. Okay? I bet it's going to be a Ninja Turtle. He's mature now. He wants to be a soccer player, but you know. But again, for all of us, go back to who you were at the core before you had to build the walls and all of those things. That's where your healthy love starts. That's who God designed you to be in the world. And if you're in a situation or with a person or around people who make it feel unsafe for you to be who God called you to be, well, now you have some things to think about and try to decide, am I in the right environment? I tell my clients all the time, somebody said, what if you don't have a person? Great question. And had I not gave you the golden nugget, so usually with clients, I will keep you in there all day till you come up with somebody, right? I'll keep working with you because sometimes it's just more hidden. But now that I've told you how it works, it's going to be harder to work backwards because you're going to, every time you think about it, you're like, I ain't like them. So you're not gonna, I kind of gave you that hidden answer. But I would say if you couldn't think of a person, ask people who knew you growing up. Ask them. Like, do you remember somebody that I used to talk about all the time, or a show I used to watch all the time, or anything like that? And that might help you. Right? But yeah, so we're moving into who we were so that we can begin to have that healthy love, because it doesn't matter who taught you love. And some of us had people teach us love who were brilliant and were very loving, and they set us on the right path. Others had people teach us love who were doing the best they could, and they had been hurt and betrayed, and they were trying to make sure it didn't happen to you, which might have inadvertently put you on the wrong path. But today, you can choose a new path and start on the road to healthy love. I don't know how I'm doing on time. Yes, sir.
You know what, Doc, I wanted you to answer this question.
I would love to.
Got a 911.
Yes.
How do you work with the psychopath in your home?
Ooh, good question.
To be continued.
I will tell you this, and I want to be honest, right? How do you work with a psychopath in your home? A psychopath is dangerous, right? And you're going to, honestly, and I don't know the specifics, but if you're living with a psychopath, you have to start making an exit plan. You've got to get out of there. I did a show recently, just my heart going out to the number of, and in this case, it's women who are being unalived by their partners. You got to get out of there. You don't know when's the day, right? You don't know. So, and that's a hard thing to do. You said.
So what if the psychopath is your child?
Now, if the psychopath is your child, this one gets tricky, right? Because you can't necessarily, you can't be like, okay, here's $1,000, may the odds be ever in your favor, right? We're leaving you the house. Nobody tell the child where we're going. No, but the beautiful thing about a child is their brain is still developing, and it's not too late for them, but you need to get help for them, serious help. And that might mean that they may need to be somewhere where they need more in treatment, in residential support, more than what you could provide as the parent. That's not a slight against you as the parent, but you might not be able to meet. But as a child, the brain is still developing. truth be told, the brain is still developing until 25. So some of my people that think they grown, that's why they make some of them choices. You'd be like, now, why would you? I said this to my college son, why would you do that? Right? But I remember, his brain ain't fully developed. And then when I'm arguing with him, because we get into it, me and my older son, we just back and forth. Then I think, why am I arguing with him? My brain is fully developed. Oh, yes. And I mean, when we going. I'm like, well, you don't. But that's a very tricky one. So please, if you are dealing with anyone who has real tendencies for psychopathy or sociopathy, which means they could, and you'll know with children, there's certain things that have been in common with a lot of serial killers, like wanting to harm animals and things like that. You start seeing some of that, it's time to get some help. You need some support because you may have other children that you have to protect as well. Good questions. Anybody else?
This person, I'm just trying to get this person.
I like that.
Because God put this person in my spirit. They saying, what if they don't have nobody to talk to or go, I'm assuming.
Yes, and most people don't, right? And I don't want to oversimplify this because when I say you need to make a plan to get out of that, that's why I said a plan. I didn't say leave tomorrow because the most dangerous time for anyone is when they're leaving. So this isn't something you want to rush into, but if you have nobody, no help, there still are resources. You can contact shelters, domestic violence hotline. Just because someone has never hit you doesn't mean you can't get support from domestic abuse hotlines. And the person that is sharing this, please reach out to me. I will support you. We will get you in contact with some resources and help you start to build a plan. And you can reach me at info@drtoyaflowers.com, or you could just go to my website, drtoyaflowers.com. I have a Facebook page, You Plant We Water. You can DM me. But if somebody truly is psychopathic or abusive, or even if honestly they're finding out that most of the men, and I'm sorry, men, I ain't picking on y'all, but just saw these studies, who do unalive their wives, the vast majority of them never hit them first. Right? We're familiar with the cases where it's abuse in the home and we think, oh, but a lot of times it's this resentment and these mean things is building up over time, right? So we want to take it serious. So anyone who's listening, if you want resources, you want support, reach out because it's scary when you have no one, but the truth is you aren't truly alone. We just got to get you in contact with the right help. This was beautiful, y'all. Any final comments, questions, concerns? You all did wonderful. Thank you for taking a risk and sharing with me about who taught you love. We talked to each other about it. We did a little petty. We did a little professional. We made sure to put in a prophetic so I could stay on the network. My little thing that I do at the end is I say you plant, you say we water, and we all say God gives the increase. All right? You plant,
We water.
and God gives the increase. Thank you.